Let's go down to Kokomo.
Day 78, Friday the 1st of January, Costa Maya, Mexico. Happy New Year! Welcome to 2016. Hopefully another happy, healthy year aboard the Norwegian Dawn. As a present to myself, I've decided to give myself the day off from the blog and use a piece I wrote as a tweet longer a while ago when I was training about a funny episode that happened to me when I was much younger and just starting out in horse racing. Enjoy the read and enjoy your day, folks. I've always had a special affection for the Midlands Grand National, and here's why. P.S. Sorry it's a bit longer than 140 characters, but if you've 5 minutes, it's well worth the read, just to laugh at my expense. As a kid, aged 14, I used to work weekends and holidays at Jim Wilson's yard in Cheltenham. I mostly just got in the way and spilt water down my jeans as I attempted to carry buckets across the yard. But sometimes they used to let me ride out, and one time I got to ride the star of the yard, the winner of the 1994 Midlands Grand National, Glenbrook Door. Don't ask how they let me loose on any horse, let alone a good one. Well, they say racehorses can sense novice riders a mile off, and the old boy duly carted me up the gallop, and we passed by the entire string at a decent clip. Now Jim's gallop goes straight up one of the steepest hills in Cheltenham, so as we approached the top, old Glenn quite sensibly decided he'd had enough fun and games with the work experience girl, and started to pull himself up. Despite me still flailing around on his back, like an epileptic patient in the middle of a full-on seizure. But then, just as we reached the summit, a glint appeared in his eye. His ears pricked, he saw us stride, and whoosh! He took off with an almighty leap and sailed straight over the top of the fence at the end of the gallop. For me, it was my first proper rush of adrenaline. It was amazing, fantastic, epic! Until panic returned, when I realised that this escapade could now ensue for at least 4.5 miles, by which point I'd be completely lost somewhere in the Cotswolds, as my kidnapper continued relentlessly at high speed across the countryside. What thoughts rushed through poor Jim's mind I dread to think, as he and the rest of the lads pulled up a few minutes later, having completed their sensible canter, as his star chaser and young pilot were nowhere to be seen. To their credit, they were still waiting as a delighted Glenn and I reappeared, sweating and blowing, jig-jogging back up the hill on the opposite side of the fence some 10 minutes later. Thankfully, the old horse had come to a very abrupt halt at a high wire fence that housed a field full of quite rightly petrified Frisians, after correctly deducing that neither his nor especially my capabilities would see us land successfully on the other side. I seem to remember being greeted by much swearing, mixed with astonishment and relief that both I, and most of all Glenn, were still in one piece. I was swiftly taken down from Glenn's back and switched to a more sedate conveyance for the ride home, while Jim took charge of Glenbrook Door, who looked as pleased with himself as the day he'd won at Uttoxeter, whilst they waited for the farmer to come and unlock the gate and release the trespasser from the field. If I'd have had any sense, it would have put me off horses and racing for life, but no. I relived that majestic moment that Glenbrook Door and I flew over that mighty fence over and over, falling asleep every night, dreaming about galloping on the back of a racehorse. I also put up with much ribbing from the lads, and to this day those rails are known as Glenn and Amy's rails. Some 20 years later, the shoe is firmly on the other foot, and now I am the horrified trainer who gets to watch with my heart in my mouth as one of my young workers disappears into the distance at the behest of one of my string. And that's all for day 78. Thanks for listening. Be sure to tune in to day 79's antics tomorrow. Same time, same place. Well, not literally, because this ship never stops. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss a day. And if you're enjoying it, like and share it too. Thank you!